evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Forgive me, first of all, Mr. Chairman. I'm en route there, just stuck in traffic coming from Long Island. I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. To the council members, council member Nurse, just yesterday I was in Brooklyn, came from the Bronx. I passed through your district. We were celebrating the 90th birthday of former Councilman Ed Towns. And so I just want to commend you and all the council members for the work that you do day in and day out. My political career started as a messenger for the New York City Council way back when, only in America, right? And so I take everyone's points for what they are. I think that the council members make excellent points tonight in that I never heard the councilwoman attack anyone specifically at all. So she's right about that. And number two, we know that yes, this council and the mayor at some point will be turning in minutes. So we're having a philosophical conversation here, and we've been having that over the dozen hearings that we've had on the balance and the powers of the checks and balances of power, right? So the thing becomes that if the charter allows for the mayor to appoint his cabinet and his commissioners, a lot of people feel that this would be an imbalance of power by the city council. In the way, like with the city council, I got a couple of questions here. It's like, if the city council would like, advice and consent on the mayor's executive team or commissioners, I know that the council also has central staff and they have an executive team. Would it be fair if the mayor then had advice and consent on that, on who is appointed by the speaker and or the council members for their committees?
So Mr. Ball,
With
President, this is Council Member Shauna Brave. Since I'm here, I'll respond to that.
Yeah.
We're not asking for an appointment process on the mayor's executive team, like her chief of staff, or anything like that. We're asking about appointments to commissioners, which are traditionally subject to the advise and consent of the city council. Let me tell you, I actually campaigned on advise and consent, and sometimes I think we didn't go far enough. I campaigned on advising consent to have the police commissioner subject to advising consent. Because as we have seen in the past,
So
when the CCRB puts forward its disciplinary process, the commissioner can just notify it and the status quo remains. So I just want you to know that this is not something that was thought about in the past few months.
okay.
It's something that the council has stood
No,
for
no, I know.
since I ran in 2020.
I get that, Councilman, but then now, okay, so if the mayor then is where the buck stops, when something goes unfortunately, wrong with an agency or a commissioner, on the advice and consent, should it go in the form that the council wanted? Does that mean that the council will share in the responsibility if something goes left, if something goes wrong?
The council's power is simply
Because the city, because going back to Miss Jackie Rowe Adams' thing about the mayor being elected, the people of the city see the mayor. So when something goes wrong with the police department or the Department of Education or transportation, they blame the mayor. That's why many of us champion mayoral control.
Can I respond to that?
So that we can know somebody. Yeah, sure.
So
but you guys take responsibility as well.
As I learned in political science, the buck stops with the president. The buck stops with the executive, and the council has oversight power. The appointment power still is retained by the mayor. All we're saying is let's have a conversation. Put your best foot forward. And you know what? I'm sure that the vast majority of the commissioners, it would pass muster through this body. We have not rejected one single commissioner as long as I can remember. And so my response to that is the council has its job, it's oversight, and the mayor job, the buck stops with him, and he does have his executives. But it is not a foreign idea to have advice and consent for his top commissioner.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. And it's not, Councilman. And you know why? Because we see it now currently, for instance, in the state Senate.
Yep.
And you and I, as Latinos, and we could, I know that we agree on some issues and we disagree on some issues. But for me, as a Puerto Rican, as a proud Puerto Rican of Puerto Rican parents, what my concern is and what other people's concerns are when you speak about advice and consent or confirmation is that forget this. I'm not talking about this council, and let's not talk about this mayor. Let's talk about prospective. let's say the council, for whatever reason, does not like what the mayor is doing on any particular issue or any budgetary item. The concern is number one, when the mayor, when he or she gets elected, they have that period of time to get ready to go into day one straight off the bat. So a lot of them are already making sure that they have their commissioners, they have their deputy from November of the election to January 1st, they're ready to go. But if you have all these people in the queue, now January 1st, by the time you get to confirm, a dozen, 2 dozen commissioners, that could take several months before the administration is up and going. Number two, if we've seen, for instance, I just saw about a year and a half ago in the Senate when they did not like what the governor for whatever reason on something that was not germane to a judicial appointment in Justice Hector Lasalle. And Hector Lasalle is, I believe, whether you agree or disagree with some of his rulings, he was the cream of the crop when it comes to Latinos, when it comes to forget Latinos, to the judiciary. And so he was not confirmed. I don't believe it was really on his merits or his past decisions that the Senate, one can argue, made a point against the governor for something that was not germane.
Can I respond to that?
If this were to go, yes, but let me hear my question.
Okay.
How do we avoid that from happening in the future, where if the council doesn't like that, where the mayor, he or she is doing on state education, holds up a police commissioner's appointment?
Well, with respect to LaSalle, I mean, I'm not. I mean, whether that process was politically, motivated or not, I mean, that's beyond me.
It was.
So
Yeah,
with,
it was.
okay, that's not the subject of subject matter of this hearing. With respect to the first question, however, it takes 30 days
Checks
for
and
the mayor.
balances.
It takes 30 days for the mayor to make an appointment, and I can guarantee you that the council will move as quickly as possible to get the hearings done in a timely manner. That's what I'll say. I'm going to leave it at that. Any other questions?
Okay, but what happens to my last point? What happens? How do we avoid when a council body does not appreciate what the mayor or he or she is doing on issue A, and then wants to hold up an appointment that has nothing to do with issue A, and it's over here to try to bring the mayor? That creates an imbalance of power.
Mm-hmm.
That's the concern of many New Yorkers who testified before this hearing.
Yep.
So we either
And
go.
many who have studied that, yes.
So we either make an
I'm sorry,
appointment.
go ahead.
Either we make an appointment without advising consent, which is denying the public the right to be heard,
Bullshit.
or we have a process that allows the public to be heard. It's that simple, and that's the way that we see it.
No, don't do that.
Okay, I really wanna move forward because we have a lot of,
One last point on that, just on that.
very quickly, Commissioner Diaz,
Yes.
very quick.
Niggas are
You
lying,
can't say
bro.
that the public cannot be heard when the public voted for the mayor.
Yep.
They-
Thank you.
And they entrusting that their mayor is making the appointments.
So is your argument then that if we have a mayor, then therefore council hearings are not significant or legally important? That's basically your argument. That makes no sense.
They are.
I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you.
No, they are.
No, did you wanna test? I feel like you can.
That was at this point, this is my
All right.
my testimony.
Thank you, good seeing you.
Good to see you.
All right, we have Council Member Krishnan, who's been patiently waiting, also on Zoom. Council Member?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioners, and thank you for including all of us in your participation today for the hearing. My phone